never been before. Welcome to the Vortex.
Good afternoon, my name is Dr.MattieKlare. Welcome you to the next episode of my show, Welcome to the Vortex. Today's special guest is DEBORAH VIDAL, a homeopath. Welcome you. Thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to talk about homeopathy with you.
I am glad to connect any natural approach to health, because it's so hard being a chiropractic doctor. It's so hard to explain to people how important that the body can heal itself. And we go from there in the homeopathic direction. I would like to ask you first, how did you get the idea, became interested in homeopathy?
Well, I think like most homeopaths, we all begin our journey by getting sick ourselves, and then we do a search to get better. And I personally had lots of sinus infections that became very serious, like over the course of 4 or 5 years. And I tried so many different healings. I tried, different kinds of massage. I tried natural herbs, and I just couldn't find any relief. And one time I got sick, and then the pharmacist actually, that, of course, they prescribed antibiotics. And I was against taking that, and the pharmacist told me you should try homeopathy because there's a really good homeopath here in town. This was in Boulder, Colorado, where I lived. And I did, and that was the last sinus infection I got. So it was like a miracle for me, and then I knew what I was to do for my life.
Wow, that sounds good. It's interesting that we health professionals, natural health professionals, we always get into it. Yes. Getting myself injured with my back, so I slowly moved into chiropractic. But that's amazing that you naturally, from your own, you denied taking antibiotic. What was the reason for that, without knowing homeopathy, without knowing anything? Can you tell me about that original idea?
Well, I grew up in a medical family. My father's a medical doctor, an MD here in Las Vegas, actually. And I almost went to medical school, but I just didn't. Ever since I was a kid, there's something that resonated into me, that nature has everything we need to be well. So when I started getting sick, I really tried all these things. And before my life as a homeopath, I actually was a professional golfer. And I think being exposed to all the chemicals on the golf course, and I'm a rather sensitive person, it really put my immune system over the edge, and I just started getting sicker and sicker. And I did have to succumb to doing antibiotics for a short period of time because it was becoming very, very serious. But I can tell you I tried everything before I did antibiotics, and just nothing worked, including the antibiotics. So I knew when my golf career was coming to an end, I wanted to start another career. I knew it would be an alternative health. And when you find healing like that in something so profound, it's kind of like your answer, what you're to do with your life.
After you learned about the homeopathy, you heard about the German Hahnemann, I think, who actually figured it. What is the basics understanding of homeopathy itself?
Well, homeopathy is based on the line that is like cures like. So it's not the same cures the same. So in the case of, let's say if you were allergic to bees, and then you take their venom and you inject yourself slowly with it, you can make yourself immune to bees. But that's taking the bee that you're allergic to and using that to make you better. But in homeopathy, it's more like this. If you had allergies, let's say, and your allergies were watery eyes and a runny nose and kind of burning eyes. Now, if you think of when you cut an onion, and your eyes burn and water. So the onion made into a homeopathic remedy is one of our well-known allergy medicines, because it doesn't mean that you're allergic to onion and you're using it. It's something that produces like symptoms for the condition that you have. Therefore, like cures like. And that's the whole basis of homeopathy.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you actually went to an Italian homeopath to study homeopathy, and I would be interested why you chose in Italy that particular person.
Well, actually, I did a lot of training before that. That was more advanced training, and I did my basic schooling in San Diego at a San Diego center, and then I did lots of, it's hard, homeopathy. You can't just go to medical school and like you can in Western medicine. You really have to kind of build your education yourself. So I did my basic schooling, then I worked in a clinic for 2 years, a few days a month in Arizona. And then once you kind of get the basics, then you start going to conferences and you fall in love with certain teachers. Some resonate with you and some don't. Mm-hmm. And Massimo Mangialavori, he's an Italian homeopath.
Beautiful name.
Mangialavori. I've learned to use my Italian inflection. And I really liked his work because it works very, very deeply. I think when you say homeopathy, there's a lot of different kinds, really, because we can treat constitutionally, which is treating the immune system very deeply so that the vital force kind of takes care of the healing. You could use it acutely for colds. You could use it for healing like broken bones and things like this. But obviously my love for homeopathy is to treat as deep as possible so you can help change the life of a child or undo the layers of a person that's been very damaged in their life with maybe sexual abuse or a lot of emotional upsets that have created disease. And it's pretty amazing to see how those layers can come off a person using energetic medicine, because basically homeopathy is energetic medicine because there is no substance in it. It's been diluted.
It's amazing. And most people, actually that would have been my next question. You already answered it because I was interested in that. But when I hear in my profession people coming for a quick fix very often, and it's hard to explain, there is no quick fix most of the time. So how do you deal with that?
Well, part of it is where we live, and it's one of the reasons that I did want to study with Massimo, because he's a master of treating very deeply. And I think that's way more important than a quick fix. So I think part of it, as you know, Mattie, with a chiropractic, a lot of it is patient education. You need to really tell your patients, look, you've been sick for 30 years. Ever since this happened in your life, you can see how your health has gone down. And we're so used to societies, especially in Los Angeles or New York or fast big cities like this, people expect to be well by taking a pill and they need their disease to be gone, or they can't miss a day of work. Well, the body gets us sick because maybe we need to lay in bed for 3 days and rest, but who has time for that anymore, you know? Exactly. So it's a lot of it's just patient education. But one of the things that I love about homeopathy with this is that often the conditions get reversed as they were put onto the body. So let's say you had stomach pains when you were a kid and then you recently got migraines. The migraines would go away first and the stomach pains last. So you can kind of see layers coming off, and you're kind of going back into your time of your childhood. So it depends on how sick somebody is. Sometimes it's not as obvious and not as noticeable. But I'll have a patient say, wow, I'm doing better, but now all of a sudden I have headaches. And, well, did you ever have headaches in your life? Well, actually, yeah, when I was 12, I had really bad headaches. And then you see, well, maybe we're at that point in their life, and you see it start coming off. So I think one of the ways is if you express that to your patient, they start being able to really see that they are getting better and that it is a time thing. And, you know, a quick fix, you're going to rely on whatever that is, a pill, a drug. It's not a quick fix forever. In the long run, it's not a quick fix. So they have to just understand what health really is.
I'm amazed about the similarity, because here with me happens very often that people coming, oh, I have headaches, so much headaches, and then please help me, and then I do the work, and then suddenly they get low back pain. And then it's a similar issue. Did you ever had? Oh yeah, I used to, but it went away. And right. I didn't do anything, and it went away. And it's hard to explain then, you know, that stays dormant is with you, and then this headache is actually the follow-up as a build-up on it, and it's actually worsened your situation. So now I work on that deeply, and then the lower back comes back. It's a good sign because we work it backward, and that's the hardest to make understand. Oh, I came with some pain, and then now I have that pain as well again, and why do I have to go through again, and why why not just take me that issue? So in homeopathy, I as I hear, it's really similar. So it connects very much.
Well,